If you want your linear switches to sound and feel the perfect way you like, watch this video so you know what's the best mod for you and what you need to buy. And with that being said, hello guys and welcome back to another video. Quick disclaimer, you need a hot swappable keyboard so you can easily take out your switches without buying a desoldering and soldering station. Modding your switches can create a totally different and new experience. Some like their switches soft and comfortably, and others rather harder and touch intense. The switches I'm testing all mods out on are the Gateron Milky Yellow Pros. If you have other switches than these, it's not a big deal, because the change from modding remains the same as with other switches. In this sense, you have a base with specified components such as volume, pitch, power that you can personalize a little yourself afterwards. But it varies how loud, high-pitched and strong your switch is. For example, a switch that sounds deep will sound even deeper when you add more deepness to it. You can take a closer look at the informations with the difference of the feel and sound in the sound test. My ingredients for the modding process are a switch opener, Krytox 205 grade 0, MX switch films for Cherry and Gateron switches, and O-rings. I bought the factory loop version of the switches so we can see if there's a difference between factory looped switches and self-looped ones. Alright, now I will show you how to apply the different mods on the switches. Lubing. First, place the switch in the switch opener so that the side with the two elevations of the opener is on the side with the two parts of the upper housing of the switch. After you have done this, carefully push the switch into the switch opener. Then a gap forms where you can reach in your fingernail, and from there you can pull the upper housing upwards while holding the switch opener. It's a bit like opening a soda can, some sort of. And after a little trying, tada, you have opened a switch. Now you can separate the upper and lower housing, the stem and the spring. I recommend small bolts to keep everything well organized. So at first, we are going to start to loop the housing. Start by only using a small amount of Krytox 205 grade 0 with the brush. Otherwise you may end up with too much loop in your switch, which will not feel good and may be difficult to push down. Start applying loop onto both slider rails like this. If you have evenly spread the loop there, you should see a thin cloudiness. If it's too wide, you may have applied too much loop. After done that, spread the rest of your loop carefully onto the leaf, where the stem legs hit the leaf left and right. But if you want your switches to be a little more tactile, skip the skip with the leaf. Now you take a little bigger amount of Krytox 205 grade 0 again and only loop the inside and outside ending from the spring on both sides. And then you can put it in the switch housing. Last step. The stem. Here you need the same amount of loop as the housing. You can use a pair of pliers like these or use your fingers to hold the stem. Here you start on the outside and smear all lubricant around the stem until you have some left over, which you can apply to the hollow of the stem and the stem itself. As an additive, you can also loop the legs of the stem. But if you want your switch to be more tactile, skip this step. You can actually loop the whole stem, except for the cross, because there is no contact with the switch itself. Then you need to put it in the switch housing, so that the stem legs are facing towards the leaf in the housing. Done! Now you can just place the upper housing on top of the stem. Pay attention that the upper housing's bigger room, the side where the logo is in the same direction as the leaf, so that the leaf can be some sort of caped off the housing. Now you've looped the switch, and you need to repeat that over and over again until you're done. By the way, you can also buy a stem holder, but I don't think it's recommendable because you don't actually need to spend that money if you're low on budget. The next part is filming. This is easier than lubing and only needs film. So you open the switch again as I have just shown and put the film with the reflector side down into the housing, but you need to look out that you've placed the film correct and the stem legs don't hit the film. The last mod are the O-rings. For the O-rings you just really need to place the O-ring on top of the cross. You don't actually need to open it though, but keep in mind that you can't press your key that much down afterwards. I hope this video made your decision on what to mod on your Switch faster and easier. In the end, practicing is key, so you may make some mistakes at first. The Switch makes the most part of the feel and the sound, but other components from the keyboard takes an important role as well. The keycaps or the type your keyboard is made of, for example. But I may talk about this topic again in another video. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time. And today's sponsor is Raid Shadow Legends. You know, I have the previous Oh mein Gott, was hat das aufgehalten gerade? Ich weiß es nicht. Was war das für ein Geräusch, Digga? Junge, schon wieder? There is a motherfucking fly on the stem. How? How is lubricant that strong? How can a fucking fly can be stuck on my stem? I don't actually know. What the heck? How is there a fly? And it's
very sexy, Keisha, Mackie. Pull up and dump off. Choose a way to jump off. Very sexy, whoosh.
Go find Jimmy, that's insane. I'm the hardest in the game. First cover ever made.